Ready Check Radio. Why, hello there, Internet, and good evening. It's Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. That means here on twitch.tv/ReadyCheckRadio, it's time for the Relic Grind, your Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix podcast. And, there might have been a little something going on today that we can talk about.
Inconsequential.
Find something to talk about. Just so you find something to talk about. I'm Mike Byrne, as always. We're doing this live, chat, hanging out with us. If you got a minute, you're listening on Audible, iTunes, Spotify, any of those things, watching on YouTube, head on over to the website there, readycheckradio.com. Socials are all in the upper right-hand corner. Give us a follow on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all that fun stuff. Like and subscribe whatever platform you are watching or listening on. And most of all, if you like what we do here, tell a friend. It's easy, it's fast, and it's, in fact, the freest way to support us. We've got some stuff to talk about, 14-related, and, of course, other Square Enix stuff. So helping me get right down to it, Mr. Chris Montoya, a.k.a. Tarkoth. What's up, sir?
Greetings, programs. Man, I am hyped. That was the most hyped 10 minutes that I've had all week. I'm stoked. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. It was a pretty good 10 minutes. And we've had a week of announcements and reveals and all over the board, not just Square. We talked about them on Gaming Gumbo last week. Just a programming reminder, no Gaming Gumbo this Saturday, no Gaming Gumbo next Saturday. Neither day Torchwick will be streaming either. So right after the show today, I set up the stream for Tarkoth's stream Saturday night. Make sure you check that out. Graduation party this weekend, and then next weekend on Saturday, we'll be streaming a couple different times from Too Many Games, the retro gaming convention over in Philadelphia like we did last year. So it should be a good time. Make sure you join us off and on throughout the day on Saturday the 25th. Also on the line to talk Final Fantasy, the Adam Lane himself, the Chrono Swan. What's up, sir?
What's going on? I'm in a weird emotional state. I'm like hype and bitter at the same time. It's really weird.
I'm wondering where the bitter comes from.
You'll see, I think. I'm hyped, but at the same time, it's really weird when you're like a bitter person and very self-aware that you're bitter. It's hard.
I just have to say this, a little warning before, we're going to talk 14 first, then we'll get to that stuff. But fair warning, Forspoken, don't you dare delay. If you delay, you're done. You have to come out in October now. You have to.
Just for sales. Financials.
Yeah. If you delay, that game's done. That game is done.
I think it's already not looking great, but we'll see. I mean, I hope the best for it. I don't think it looks terrible.
I don't think it does either. There's a new gameplay trailer this past week. It was pretty good, too. I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, so go watch it. But, yeah. All right, let's get to some 14 stuff real quick here. 615, Kronos, you and I last week kind of chimed in on everything. Been doing our dailies. Still, the dailies are the dailies. They kind of feel, at least for me, like right on par with everybody else's dailies. I've had a few more combat ones now that I'm a couple ranks up. I got my minion already. So working my way up to the mount itself. But we're already at the minion, so that's good. Well, the first minion, the little elephant one. So that's good. But Tark, last week you hadn't really had a chance to dive into it yet, so let's get your impressions quickly on, Hildebrand, Tataru, all the Omega, that type of stuff that you hadn't had a chance to touch last week.
So Hildebrand, so I had the joy of taking it through pretty much all of Stormblood in this last week through the Endwalker stuff, and my God, there's sometimes I just had to stop because I couldn't stop laughing. I love Hildebrand. And the Endwalker stuff is really good. I think it's a notch up from the Stormblood stuff. It's pretty sweet. I like it. I felt Stormblood was kind of like he was like superfluous to the actual what was going on. Here he's like smack dab in the middle, and you got throwbacks to Realm Reborn where he like didn't understand what he was. So I loved it.
I do tend to agree with you, and if you look back at interviews that Yoshi P has done on the topic of Hildebrand and stuff, and they did kind of there is a difference in quality. Yeah, it's short. The Endwalker stuff is short, but we're gonna get some more of it, right? Yeah. And it's just kind of setting things up. But even Yoshi P talked about, they kind of had to rush that content in the past because they didn't think it was gonna be as loved by the community as it ended up being, and so then they had to kind of like scramble to keep these storylines going. Then they take this time off, and I think you're right. I think they do come back. I've always enjoyed Hildebrand, but I thought the Endwalker ones were very good as well. And you can kind of see with those nods to different things in A Realm Reborn and all that there was a little more time, even though it's short. It's just like 2 quests right now. There was some love given to it that maybe they didn't have the time to do in the past. I'd agree with that.
And then the Totaro stuff, yeah, you guys were right on the money. That was just like, okay, this is just the opener. Like, I don't understand why it even got its own bullet point. If you're just going to put just the one quest in there and it is what it is, like, just delay that until you have more. I don't see a point why it was released. I
do want to see where it goes, but
I do too.
It was a little lackluster in this patch.
Like, it was done in like 15 minutes. I was like, okay, well, that's great. And then Omega, wow, that is a lot of text to read. I finished an 8-hour stream, and the Omega part was hour 7, so I was like dozing as I was going through. So I might have to kind of, find some text logs there to reread that because I'm sure I missed quite a bit. But it's interesting. But I was just tired.
Lots of little tastes in 615. Kronos, how's Ultimate Prog going?
Yeah, so we actually got pretty far this week. We're like almost on the last mechanic of Super Thornton. And then we'll be on Dragons, hopefully, but I wouldn't bet on it this week. So, close.
Tark, where are you?
So, I had a major change. After the show last week, I had my normal random Thursday night. Someone quit. And at that point, I was already frustrated with another person. It's like, this person needs to go too. I have 2 replacements that fill in the exact roles we need. And that we could keep going. Well, apparently the person that I was asking to step aside because they're kind of dragging us down is best friends with the raid leader. So the raid leader decided, hey, you know what? We're just going to disband the entire raid group instead of hurt his friendship, which, fine, I understand. So I ended up with no raid group. Found one Saturday and was raiding. I'm not raiding Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Already the second raid night, we had a better percentage of getting to Nidhogg than we ever did in my first group. And that was like 19 raid nights. Saw enumerations for the first time. And the next night I saw Nidhogg and Rage for the first time. So progress. I'm happy to say I got progress coming.
With a totally different group.
Yes, a totally different group.
Sometimes you gotta change the scenery.
I thought you were going to say they booted you. No. Which they probably did. They just didn't say that. They probably rebuilt behind you. They were like,
no. Like it was an issue where 3 of us got together with the raid leader and we all said the same thing to him about what we needed to see as far as progression and more attempts in reaching further, and it just wasn't happening. We can't all nail down to him that this is kind of where our root issue is currently. Everyone else seems to be doing pretty good. This person is dying early or getting hit by mechanics, which is wiping us. So it was kind of a...
Sometimes you need the shuffle. Sometimes you need the shuffle.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see Tweeting Way take over the Final Fantasy XIV Twitter account for like a day?
I did, and I went through all those tweets, and it was just the cutest thing. It was just a rename and a kind of a theme, but it was so cute.
Yeah, I like how they started Kronos with it's attempting to introduce themselves, but hit enter early, and then tweeted out how to delete a tweet. It was very cute what they were doing with the Twitter account. I love marketing stuff like that. But so let me ask you this: was it just like a fun one-off for the day, or are we maybe seeing a little more of the Loporrits because we're going to get a new tribe daily, and I think everybody, including myself, kind of thinks it's going to be Loporrits. I mean, that just makes sense. Maybe this was a little taste of what's to come there, Kronos.
I think you're probably going to... I mean, it was too successful to not bring it back at some point. So
yeah, people loved it.
Yeah, I imagine it'll just be the same Loporrit.
Just
whatever you want to consider it. Yeah. But... yeah, it'll probably be become a regular thing. I bet, semi-regular, not like all the time.
Once every 2 weeks, so it's not over the top.
Just bring in tweeting way, huh?
Yeah, just little drops here.
I'm all for it. It was cute as hell. For those of you over the pond, it's gonna be a PvP live stream with the European community team. So yeah, you're gonna find that on that's tomorrow. So almost today for many of you, if not all of you at this point. But I only bring it here to call your attention to it if you're part of our European brethren, or if you're here in NA and you just want to watch the PvP live stream with the community team. But also, I'm thinking they probably need to change the name of these streams there, Tark.
Maybe.
They used to call this, and they still do right now, the Wolves' Den, the Final Fantasy XIV EU PvP stream. And, we have our own community stream on this side called Duty Commenced. Theirs is called the Wolves' Den. I'm thinking maybe a name change is in order. Maybe. Although the Wolves' Den does have other Final Fantasy implications.
It still exists.
So,
yeah.
It's an area. Right? It's its own area. And it has implications in other Final Fantasies. But, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Now they get the Google SEO value after a couple of years here, Kronos, right? You type in Wolves' Den 2 years from now.
I don't know how much search engine value you're getting out of that, but maybe. I mean, I guess you are technically correct, yeah.
Login campaign has started. You guys got any friends you want to bring back?
Have you left?
Get them, please. Play every day.
Have you left?
I don't have very many friends. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think either of you left, so the answer to that is no.
So you can play for 4 days for free, 96 hours. But Here's the rules. You have to have previously purchased it and registered it. Final Fantasy XIV. All your registered service accounts must be obviously inactive right now, and they must have been inactive for the last 30 days. So if you have basically bought and left Final Fantasy XIV for at least 30 days, right now you can jump in and play for free for 4 days. So you go check it out. Already started. You have till the end of the month. So jump in. I mean, we know one person's coming back. I don't know if you saw this, guys. Kronos, did you see Asmon's coming back?
I did.
Yeah. 21st, I think it is. Something. He put a date on Twitter on when he was coming. 21st or 28th, something like that. I don't remember which one.
I don't remember the exact date, but yeah, he's been teasing it for a minute. So.
Yeah, and everybody on Cactuar was like, "Oh, damn it, damn it! We're gonna have queues again." Hey, do you guys like these? We talk a lot about Yoshi P's design philosophy and having these times off. You guys are doing your ultimate prog, and I'll go and I'll do dailies and maybe grind a couple fates just to finish off some minions here and there and stuff. But these dead times, or these, I shouldn't say dead, these slower times between patches. What are you playing to get Obviously, you can go play Stranger of Paradise and go do this, and then go play Star Wars and take the opportunity to just play other games. But when you're feeling that itch, you guys know what I'm talking about, that MMO itch, where you just want to go level something, you want to go check out some new dungeons, you want to you want the dopamine hit of dinging level 29, right? When you're looking for that gaming experience. and it's kind of the slower spell in between patches in Final Fantasy. What are you playing, Tark? What like MMOs are you going to that, you know what? I don't feel like doing this in Final Fantasy right now. I'm going to go do it in this game instead for a little bit. Give me a little breather, but still get my MMO fix.
So I have to ultra focus myself because I still have goals in 14 that I need to do. So these downtimes are catch-up times for me. I'm still not Omni 90, so I'm still working on that. But to answer the question to the best of my ability here, I probably would say I'd probably go to Lost Ark. It was just a lot of fun playing it, and I got to level 24, 25. I didn't get to endgame, but I had a lot of fun with it. It was good times.
You're still a baby in Lost Ark.
Yeah, very big baby on that.
You got systems that you haven't even opened yet in that game.
I don't even have a ship.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's like 34, 35-ish. What do you got, Kronos? Where are you?
I'm kind of in the same boat, but even probably to less. It's like 14 is like the only MMO I play. Really, I mean, I've played other MMOs in the past, but this is my MMO, and I usually I do everything in this game, for better or for worse sometimes. I mean, I spend lots of hours in the D&M. I'm almost done with my stupid pterodactyl mount.
Nice.
And
that's crazy.
It's miserable, actually. It's terrible. I don't recommend anyone do that, unless you just really like it, or you really like mounts. But I mean, I do stuff like that. Like, I'll attempt Palace of the Dead solo. Like, I do that kind of stuff. But so, like, typically my playtime outside of 14 is non-MMOs.
Right.
So
you take a break. You take a break, from the genre.
Yeah, like I play fighting games. Typically, it's like or like I play a lot of other RPG too. I mean, I play the entire Final Fantasy series, right? Like some.
Oh yeah.
Usually, every couple of years, I'll play through all the numbered ones and stuff. So, like, I mean, I guess those would be like my recommendations, but. MMOs, yeah, like this is really it for me. My only other MMOs I really played in the past were like WoW for like a hot minute, Guild Wars 1. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really well versed in MMOs, to be honest.
Baron Vagabond saying Guild Wars 2 here. To Cal saying Division 2 or Guild Wars 2. Both. So I've dabbled in Guild Wars 2, and I still dabble a little bit in it, but I could never. The thing that turned me off about Guild Wars 2 had nothing to do with the game. It was I didn't want to redo shit that I had already done because of a character transfer issue way back when. That was a more complicated process than it is to transfer worlds. It was not as easy back then. So right now for me, and yeah, I dabble in World of Warcraft, not since Blizzard's been accused of all this. Oh, sidebar. Hey, Blizzard did nothing wrong, guys. They cleared themselves today.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
Their own internal investigation. Yeah, their own internal investigation that didn't disclose how many people they interviewed, why they were only focusing on the last 5 years. Like, there were all kinds of problems with this. But they said, hey, there are some unfortunate documented scenarios that needed to be taken care of, but there's no evidence that the board knew or that executives were establishing or participating in this culture of gender harassment and hiding it and everything. So according to Activision Blizzard didn't do it. They didn't do it.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to clear it off that desk so they could deal with Diablo Immortal.
I love the tagline Diablo Immoral.
Yeah. Well, did you see they had had to come out? I'm just so sidetracked now, but they had to come out and make a statement that Diablo 4 was not going to be the Diablo 4 team came out and was like, our game doesn't work like that. You're going to buy the game, you're going to buy expansions, and we'll sell cosmetics. That's it. That's it.
Don't worry, guys. You don't have to spend $50,000 to max your character out in Diablo 4.
And then Overwatch 2 announced today no loot boxes. They're not carrying loot boxes into Overwatch 2. Yeah. They're just going to do season passes instead.
Cool. Yeah. The DLC sequel. Yeah, that looks just like the first game.
Yeah. Oh, and the PvP is free to play.
Oh yeah.
So that's making it free to play. So with taking obviously a long hiatus from WoW and probably not looking to play it anytime soon. If I'm not in Final Fantasy, it's probably Elder Scrolls Online right now. It still scratches that fantasy-ish for me. It is in many ways very much like Final Fantasy XIV in although PvP is there, the game skews violently percentage-wise to the PvE side of things, so that's right up my alley. I've generally not been like a sandbox MMORPG guy. That's not. I like the theme park ones, you know, Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, stuff like that. So, and again, Elder Scrolls, the only reason I don't play it as often as I want to is because I'm in that situation where I'm like, oh, I got to do the same things over and over. Because my main character for a long time was on the PlayStation, and it's not cross progression or cross save.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. So yeah, that's kind of my. If you're looking for a break, that's a decent one to jump. I can't appreciate that combat in Elder Scrolls is not for everybody though.
No,
lots of light and heavy attack
tried.
weaving through abilities and. Why first person is still the default camera angle? I don't know. Put that shit on third person.
I tried for a hot minute, like a year and a half ago. I think it was Greymore when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was talking to you about that. And yeah, I couldn't handle the weaving in that. It was just like, this doesn't even feel good to play. Like, my hands hurt after an hour.
Yeah, it's very class specific which ones feel kind of rhythmic in their rotations and which ones don't. Anyway, let's talk about Final Fantasy or other Final Fantasy stuff and other stuff from Square Enix. Let me show you this lovely image. Way to go, Sony, right? It was kind of disappointing, right? We went through Summer Games. We went through, I mean, obviously the Xbox Bethesda showcase. We really didn't expect, you know, Square Enix to be there, but then we had the PC game show and the future game show. Like, we had all these different game shows over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and Square was a partner at them, and we got a couple little announcements of Square stuff, but like didn't get anything that you're like, oh yeah, baby, oh yeah. So Sony was like, let's take care of that for you, and went ahead and leaked onto their own PlayStation Store images for Tactics Ogre Reborn. Now, we've brought this game up, this potential game up here. We were very worried when they copyrighted the trade, or they filed for the trademarks for Tactics Ogre Reborn a few months ago on this show. Tark, you and I were very worried. Oh, shit, it's going to be a mobile game. Oh, shit, it's going to be a mobile game. But
doesn't look like it. Nope.
Now, while it may have a mobile component or crossplay, we don't know that yet. We do know that this image for Tactics Ogre Reborn was on for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, before they yanked it down on the PlayStation Store. So some type of console release here. And I'll tell you what, I'm very excited. And the minute I saw it, I was like, I know Tark's excited.
I think all of three of us tweeted like hell yes or oh hell yes or can I get a hell yeah. So
I think my quote was eject it into my veins, please.
I think we're all stoked about it.
Ironically, we still don't have an official announcement.
Yeah, it's not an official announcement, but I have the PS1, I have the PSP. Yes, give this to me. I will spend the money to get it a third time. I don't care. This is going to be sweet. This game is so good. This came out before Final Fantasy Tactics, right?
This is Let Us Cling Together, or at least that's what the art is directly from.
Yeah.
I think they're about the same time. I don't know which was first, but they're like right in the same time frame.
I'm getting both for you. So, wow. Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling was actually 2 years before Final Fantasy Tactics. Oh, wait, hold on. Which version of Tactics is this showing me here?
So, yeah, they've actually remade Let Us Cling, I think, for the PSP at some point.
Yeah.
I have the PSP version.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the 1995 version.
Right, the original. Yeah, so...
So that was October 95, and then Final Fantasy Tactics was June of 97 in Japan, January of 98 here in North America. So Tactics Ogre had it by 2 years. I mean, I'm super. We still don't have anything official.
I mean, I love the entire Ogre series. Give me, redo Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen, Person of Lordly Caliber. Just Give me all that. Give me all the ogre. Let's go.
All the ogre, all the time.
Inject that into my veins.
Before we get to some other stuff here, yeah, Tetsuya Nomura did an interview with Game Informer this past week talking about Kingdom Hearts 4 and the series and, you know, different things about the game in the future. Why, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, it's definitely worth reading. There is additional stuff we're not going to be talking about here, like Xehanort, how's that going to play if it doesn't? The areas that are going to be in there, the partnership with Disney, like there's good stuff in the interview. I wanted to bring it here very briefly before we get to Square Enix's presentation today, because the question of Final Fantasy cameos did come up, and thank goodness they asked it. Thank goodness. I would have been disappointed if they didn't, because that was a big turnoff for me personally with Kingdom Hearts 3.
The ratio
was just like the absolute lack of, well, hell, at launch, there was virtually no Final Fantasy stuff in it. Final Fantasy characters, a couple references and things, and one or two. And then they put in a little bit in the DLC. But, like, it was just like, okay, this is skewing way towards, you know, the Disney side. And so they asked, fans have been very concerned about the lack of Final Fantasy characters in newer entries. Do you still want to dial down on the amount of them in the series, or is Kingdom Hearts 4 a chance to bring in more cameos? And Nomura says, I understand there weren't that many Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. One thing I want to clear up is that a lot of fans are saying that Kingdom Hearts is this collaboration between Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters. But I really feel like that's not the basic concept of Kingdom Hearts. That's not exactly what Kingdom Hearts is. When we released the first title, we had only a few original Kingdom Hearts characters. When they were interacting with really well-known, beloved Disney characters, I felt nobody really knew these characters. So it was harder for them to stand their own ground just yet. And so we had a lot of Final Fantasy characters involved to lend a hand for everyone to get to know these original Kingdom Hearts characters better. Now, there are so many original characters from Kingdom Hearts that are so well-loved, and people want to see more of those characters. With Kingdom Hearts 3, since we did have so many original Kingdom Hearts characters, it was hard to find room for including more Final Fantasy characters. We're trying to find a good balance for that. I know that some fans were concerned about that and weren't too happy and wanted to see more Final Fantasy characters. That's something we definitely are thinking about. But just with the sheer number of original characters that we have now, it's hard to say what the exact balance is going to be and how it will play out in Kingdom Hearts 4. We can't really give you a firm reply on this just yet.
That's so weird.
So I hated that answer.
Yeah.
I hated that answer because it's kind of like, oh, yeah, since you didn't know these characters, we totally just crammed Final Fantasy in there to make you buy this shit. We totally used your love of Final Fantasy to get you into this series, which we all knew that's what they did, but this comes out and says it. I hate this answer only because that's what sold me on the franchise. And granted, you know, I know a little bit more about Sora, and there are Kingdom Hearts nuts out there. I'm just not one of them. I know your main characters. I'm cool with your main characters, but that's not why I got into the series and play the games to begin with. And maybe I'm in the minority, and if I am, I can accept that, but I don't think it's that small of a minority. I want to see the Final Fantasy characters in this world. That's what the first and the second one were amazing for me. If 4 follows in 3, I don't even know if I'll play. I don't even know if I'll play. I know there are Kingdom Hearts fans that are like, I don't care if there's Final Fantasy characters in there or not. Torchwick's one of them. Obviously, he would love Final Fantasy characters to be there because he loves Final Fantasy 2. But my son is so ingrained with Sora and Xehanort and all those characters that he loves them and will play a game with them and just say, I'm sad there weren't more additional Final Fantasy people, but I still like the game. I hated Kingdom Hearts 3. I could not finish it. I just lost interest in it for exactly that reason. So I don't think I like this answer if 4 is going to kind of follow in the footsteps of 3. Yeah, your characters may be popular. That's fine, but that's not what sold me originally. And I know you couldn't care less, Kronos. You're not buying it one way or the other.
I mean, I used
they
to
could
care.
cram it full of Final Fantasy characters, and you ain't buying it.
I used to care. I mean, I definitely bought it back in the day because it had Final Fantasy. I saw Cloud and Squall, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Let's go. Didn't even care that it had Disney characters at the time. I mean, he's said this kind of before in a different way.
And at the time, it made sense, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I totally buy what he's saying. We're making a new IP, crossing Square with Disney. We got to put some characters people know in it because we're selling a goofy idea.
Yep.
Yeah, and he said this like around the time 3 came out or like after, kind of similar thing, where it's like he felt like the Final Fantasy characters like took away from like people resonating with like Sora and Riku, and they would see them as like Final Fantasy characters as opposed to Kingdom Hearts characters. Since like I think a lot of people do treat it as that crossover. I don't think Kingdom Hearts 3 failed for me personally because there was less Final Fantasy characters, although it would have been great to see them in there. I think it had a lot of other issues, in my opinion. But yeah, I just find myself caring less and less about the series, as sad as it is. I mean, it just seems to be like Nomura just wants to make Final Fantasy Versus 13 real, and I think that's what this is going to be. So you'll get Final Fantasy in that regard, I guess. I think.
Tark, what do you think?
This might be the first Kingdom Hearts that I don't buy. I don't know. I haven't played them. I played a bit of 1. I bought 2. I've got all the extra stuff because I collect it. I might not even buy 4 because I just don't care. The Star Wars interests me.
I mean, I'm still going to buy it because Torchwick's going to want it on release day. So I'll have to. My bar is I probably won't play it on release day. I mean, it'll be here because Torchwick will. I just. And I know some people are bashing some of the Kingdom Hearts characters in chat, and I kind of have to agree. Like Final Max saying people have problems resonating with a block of wood. I mean, there are times that I'm like, wait, I'm not sure which Sora I'm actually controlling right now. Like, who's in whose heart? What the so I'm not attached to these characters in any way, shape, or form because half the time I don't know. Oh, this is Sora's body. I know that much. I don't know. I want more Final Fantasy in my Kingdom Hearts. I didn't like this answer.
You don't have to worry about this for like 10 years. So.
Right.
I'll be dead. It should be a good balance. It should be a good Kingdom Hearts, Disney, Final Fantasy balance.
Yeah, we'll all be long gone by the time it comes out, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. All right, so there was a little thing today. I don't know if any of you saw it.
Pretty insignificant.
It wasn't
important.
Anniversary thingy. I don't know. It was the the 25th anniversary stream regarding Final Fantasy VII. Little 10-minute stream. We all kind of, I'm sure, were able to guess what was going to be shown here. We had talked before about potentially them saving some stuff for the summer showcase. Apparently not. They wanted to put out its own 7, so let's start off with like the 2 small things, right? On the mobile side, Tark, you're getting another season in your battle royale.
Yeah, it's not mine. I played the beta and I didn't install it when it finally released.
And then Ever Crisis.
Yes.
Ever Crisis. Mr. Zach. So what'd you think? That's coming out 2022, later this year.
Yeah, according to Cyber Agent, their financial year ends at the end of September, and they said it's supposed to be in this financial year. So I guess there's supposed to be a closed beta, I guess sometime between now and then. So that needs to come pretty soon. And if hopefully end of September to fit that window that they said. I'm stoked for it. My big worry, and especially with Square, is monetization. I expect it to be more like Opera Omnia, which wasn't actually bad at all for its monetization. You could earn a lot of crystals, the premium currency, and get weapons and stuff. So I'm excited because I haven't played Dirge of Cerberus. Another title is coming that kind of replaces one, but we're getting Before Crisis stuff in Ever Crisis, so I'm stoked to give that a whirl.
Yeah, it was nice to see. It was okay. We'll see. We'll see how the monetization. We'll see how the monetization goes. Like they're gonna do that like episodic thing that they did with 15. So we'll see. We'll see how much you'll actually spend.
I don't know if they said that if you're gonna spend for the episodes or not.
I thought we went through the monetization. They were doing like the base thing was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a couple were separate fees afterwards. I feel like I remember talking about that, it being very similar to Final Fantasy XV's mobile thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm interested in what the story has to be, but there was more important news. There was more important news.
I want to say I went 4 for 4 on my predictions, and not only did I go 4 for 4,
4 for 4 what on what games were going to be shown?
Presentation.
Wait, are you actually bragging? You went 4 for 4 on what games would be shown during the Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary 10-minute stream.
Yep.
The only 4 games that they were going to talk about.
I was only like 50% sure on one of them, and that's the third one.
Intergrade coming out on Steam. That was some big news, cool. Right? 7 Remake coming out on Steam, literally in like 5 hours.
Yep,
comes out
tomorrow.
On Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You got 5 hours. So for some reason,
you exclusive for Epic.
you didn't have it on console. And you don't want to support the Epic Game Store. I know there's a lot of you out there that don't like that, and that's fine. It's coming on Steam, literally hours from now. But if you are watching this on YouTube, it's available. You can go buy it now. So now you have it. Epic shelled out a ton of money to hold on to it for themselves for a little while. Now you can get it on Steam. Then let's stay with Zach, right? Let's stay with Screw Cloud for a minute. Let's stay with Zach.
Zach's the real hero.
Zach. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Crisis Core getting a little bit of remake love here, Kronos, as well. And not all that far away.
Yeah, I was surprised by the date, I think, more than the game itself. So this and the Steam thing kind of leaked slightly beforehand. So I
there was rumors that the presentation had not only involved Square Enix, but also another big company. Obviously, that ended up being Steam, because people were getting press details ahead of time for the event, not just from Square Enix, but also from another company, presumably at this point, Steam.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this game, like, people have been clamoring for it, and it's kind of hard to play the PSP version at this point unless you emulate it.
Yeah.
So
it's like probably the most inaccessible piece of Final Fantasy VII software out there.
I mean, it's a good game. It's not like my favorite game by any means. It's decent. I'm glad it's getting remade. I'm sure people are really hype about it. I just wish that like we could have like pushed this off further. Just give me part 2 sooner or something. But I mean, that's like selfish.
So is this the part you're bitter about?
No, I'm bitter about something else. But I mean, I'm happy. I think this game needed something, at least like a port, so that people could play it. Because I mean, it's obvious you need to
100%.
You need to understand. If you want to understand everything, you kind of need to understand that part of the story. So. And it's really hard to play right now, which is why I kind of like the idea of it being an Ever Crisis, give a way for people to play the stuff that's kind of inaccessible. So I'm happy about it.
I love the game, by the way. I love Crisis Core. Absolutely love Crisis Core.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the slot machine type combat stuff. It's all right to me. I'm like a purist. I think I just want to play the OG 7. I think at this point, I'm just gonna die on that hill.
I'm stoked about this being on all the platforms.
Yeah,
that was actually really cool. When I saw the Switch logo, I was like, "Oh, that's dope." And then I was like, "Well, maybe part 2 will be on the Switch." Nah, that's not gonna happen.
No. So So this is this winter. This
Yes.
winter, you'll be able to play Crisis Core Remaster. It looks pretty. It looked very pretty. Looked very pretty. And then we have what I'm showing you in the B-roll footage here. Of course, the news everybody was there for, but, you know, Zach might have stolen the show. I was watching on YouTube, and the comments were, they were not in Cloud's favor, let's say. They are not in Cloud's favor. Zach doing pretty well. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Oh, wait. Scratch that. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
Rebirth. The second part of Final Fantasy Remake in the trilogy that will be. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming next winter. So we've got a little over a year, Tark. Are you surprised? One, what was your take on the trailer? Two, are you surprised that it's next winter and not earlier or later? And three, will it be delayed?
Okay, so the first question was what do I think of the trailer. The trailer is awesome. I think that's the way the game needs to open, is the whole Nibelheim, them on the truck thing, and then kind of do a tutorial thing for those that are just, that maybe have skipped remake and just coming into Reborn, or not Reborn, Rebirth. That's the third one, Reborn.
I mean, presumably they're going to have some type of mechanic to level or equalize party levels and stuff, right? For you to carry your party from one game to the next, or just jump into the next.
Yeah.
Like, you have to Mass Effect it, right? Do you want to import, or do you want to... you got to be able to bring your party, right?
I don't think they're going to let you import crap.
I don't know.
I don't think... So I don't know if you saw after the trailer, there's like 4 little snippets from like the producers and stuff. If you read the one that Katase said...
That's why I bring the topic up.
I don't think you're going to be able to port anything, because I think they want to design these in a way, for better or for worse, that if this is the first one you play, you can play it as a standalone game, which I think is really weird considering how they just chose to design these. But again, I mean, that's their choice. So
I will come back to you. That's why I brought it up, because I did see it. You know, it's my job as the host to guide the discussion, right? Tark, second question. Surprised by the release date, and then third, will it be delayed?
So surprised by the release date? No. We kind of knew that it was going to be after 16 at this point. So I guess I was slightly surprised that it's so
that
soon
close
after 16.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. That's 2 seasons, you know, so 3 to 6 months, depending on when 16 makes it in summer, right? If it's late summer and this is early winter, you're looking at like a 3.5, 4 month gap. If it's early summer and late winter, you got more of like a six month or so gap. I was surprised in that regard.
I will say the 2023 to 2024 financials for Square are going to be off the hook with 16 and Rebirth.
They're going to do just fine. I feel bad for anything coming out the following year, because that, you know, their financial reports are going to be like, yeah, we didn't do as well as last year, but you know,
that's how last year was falling 7.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, sorry. Will it be delayed? Possibly.
Oh, 100% it'll be delayed. Come on.
But I mean, for us Square Enix fans, I mean, Forspoken, please release on time. No more delays. And then Crisis Core, and then 16, and then Rebirth. Like, bang, 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 bang. Just yes.
Oh yeah.
So much goodness.
They absolutely, Forspoken absolutely can't be delayed at this point. If it's delayed into 2023, it's just gonna get crushed. It's just by its own company, it's just gonna get crushed.
I think it's gonna have a hard time competing with Crisis Core, honestly.
That's tough. I think you're right. I think you're right.
I feel bad for, you said you feel bad for other games. I feel bad for the older Square Enix games in that window. Like, I think Forspoken, I don't know what they're gonna do, man. Because I don't think it looks bad. I feel bad for them, because I think
it looks pretty good.
I think it looks fine. Yeah, but I think when you put Crisis Core, like, right, the CrisisCore is in the same window.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like a month, probably a month or two off at most.
That's winter.
Winter 20, this winter of this year.
It just says this winter. So that could be December, January, February.
January, February, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I took that as like, I doubt they'd miss the holiday season. But maybe I'm wrong.
I tend to agree with you. I think they want something on consoles, Final Fantasy VII related, in stores for the holiday.
I think that's within 2 months of Forspoken, at like minimum, probably. But I mean, I could be wrong. We don't really know the exact date, but I think that hurts the game a little bit for the same reasons we said.
All right, so what are you bitter about, Kronos? Go ahead.
This is a sequel, man. Like, I don't know. I'm still bitter about it being a sequel. This is gonna be like so different, and like now that we know it's only 3 parts, we know there's like no way. There's no way they could tackle everything in 3 parts. It's not possible. So why did they make like Midgar 1 part? And now this is basically gonna be like Zack's story. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Like, so it's just weird, man.
Well, I mean, if they were having intentions of doing a Crisis Core remaster, though, I don't know how much of Zack's story you put in Rebirth.
I think you're going to get a lot of Zack, because I think they're hyping
he's
Zack
definitely going to be present and everything. But
I think they're hyping
Go ahead.
Zack up to be just as much of a main character as Cloud. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like the 3rd episode of this game is going to be Zack and Cloud teaming up together to fight Sephiroth. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
And like. So like that is like already, it's just way different, and I think that's what they're trying to differentiate themselves from the original game. Like they've been doing that. I think.
Oh yeah.
The first game was kind of like a bait and switch to an extent. It's a great game.
Well, I mean, the first game had Sephiroth basically shoehorned into it too. Like he had nothing to do in the original with what was going on with any of that stuff yet. Besides the death scene in Shinra and stuff like that.
It also depends on which theory you give into, whether or not that's the same Sephiroth. But
it's not.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. But it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a different story. Like I said, for better or for worse. I think some fans are really happy about that. Personally, I'm not. I'd rather just have a really pretty version of the OG. But I still have the OG to play, so I can't really be too sad. I think it looks great. I do. But the first one also looked great. I have a feeling a lot of this is, again, very baity. I think you're seeing a lot of the Nibelheim stuff. I think you're going to play this part, and then you're going to play Zack. I really...
that's why I feel it's going to be a tutorial.
And, like, I mean, yeah, it could possibly be. And I think that's how they're going to keep it, like, fresh, and you can start with this game, because now, you know, you're not going to have... And then, get ready for the fanboys that are going to be real bitter that, like, there's, like, no Sid. And none of that, and it's just like Zack, and like, I mean, we'll see. I don't know, because they could go 100 different ways with it, but I really feel like you're going to get a lot of Zack in this game, for sure.
Zack, and more Zack. 2022 into 2023, year of the Zack. It's just year of the Zack. Year of the Zack. Hey, Square Enix shutting down a game you probably didn't even remember being a thing.
I know I didn't until I clicked on this link.
Yep, I didn't know what this was.
Covered it on MMO Bomb this week. Fantasy Earth Zero, an MMORPG run by Square Enix, shutting down in Japan, and that's the last. If you don't remember it, it's probably because it only released for about a year here in the West, and then it released in like 2010 or so, and then shut down the next year. It was gone. By March of 2011, it was shut down. Now it's being shut down officially on September 28th, 2022, the final one, the Japanese server. For some reason, though, if you want to go ahead and spend money in the cash shop, you can through the end of August. They've like the press release that we got to cover it specifically was like, yeah, don't worry, the cash shop will still be. I'm like, well, why? Every other game I get an announcement that it's shutting down. They're like, effective today, the cash shop is dead. By the way, if you bought anything in the last 60 days, we're going to refund you. This one's like, but if you want to spend money, do so by the end of August. Do so by the end of August.
I want to buy cosmetic and use it for 1 day before the server shuts down. Yeah,
exactly. I don't know what the hell they were thinking there. Hey, you know, I had mentioned earlier that Square Enix really wasn't present at a lot of these different shows, but we did get one thing in one of the shows. What is this?
So Hasn't this been in early access for like a year?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's finally now just has an official release.
Yeah. I think I remember like when they first like announced the early access of this game. I mean,
you've been able to play it for a while, but it's getting an official release. Power Wash Simulator on the Xbox and on PC, July 14th. July 14th.
Wow.
I mean,
Goat Simulator and trucking simulators.
People buy those games. I'm not surprised.
I could find this, as they mentioned in the videos over and over. There might be aspects of this that I could find oddly satisfying, like just oddly satisfying. Like, oh, look at how clean that van is. Look at how clean.
See, I feel like as a homeowner, if I could convince myself to play this, I should be like, man, I should probably go clean my own crap outside.
My son at one point was playing one of those, I don't know which one it was like lawn mowing simulator, and I was like, really we have half an acre
right out there.
We have half an acre of property that needs to have the grass cut. Could we just go take care of it there?
And it's better because you actually level up when you do it out there. Come on, let's go.
Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent mobile release. You can now pre-register for it.
Yeah,
either of you. All right. Yeah. What'd you think?
It's a good game. It's an Octopath Traveler, but you get 8 characters. And
funny how that works. That's odd.
I
would have thought
you get a front row and back row. So, and then you can move them back and forth to kind of gain MP and keep using abilities.
That's what the Octo. Oh.
Yeah. That's where you get the Octo in this one. So I had fun with it. It's an Octopath Traveler game. Just more characters on the screen. We'll see about monetization. That's the thing with Square, though.
That's always the thing. Always the thing. Yeah. As much as I love Octopath, I'm just not a mobile guy. Like I have no interest. Like I was like, oh, Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI, like these are all coming to mobile, and then I was like, I don't want to play on my phone. Let me get out the SNES cart. Let me just get out the cartridge, throw that thing in.
You have a nice sized tablet? That'll work too.
Oh, I do. I use it for my stream when I'm over on the tabletop there for Final Fantasy TCG. I have a control panel, nice big tablet, but even then I'm like, I'd rather just sit at the console or sit at my PC. Not for me. Let's slide over and do Love It or Leave It, gentlemen. Love It or Leave It is the way we end every episode of the Relic Grind here. It's where I give you something Square Enix related. Could be a game, could be a feature, could be a press release, a decision they've made, anything I want. And you tell me whether you love it, you want more of it, or leave it, can't stand it, let's get rid of it. Today, since I knew everybody on this panel was going to be super happy about Tactics Ogre Reborn potentially, quote, quote, being a thing, since they haven't officially said anything yet, I couldn't just say Tactics Ogre Reborn. It would have been 3 love-its, and we would have been straight to the credits. So I had to put a little caveat on it. Tactics Ogre Reborn being made and released before a Final Fantasy Tactics remake. Love it or leave it, Tark.
Love it. It came before Tactics, or FF Tactics. Give it its love, give it its due, and then it does well. You ship that over to Tactics remake. I'll buy that too.
I'm gonna go with leave it. I would have rather seen Final Fantasy Tactics first. That doesn't mean that I'm not super happy about Tactics Ogre, that I'm not gonna buy both when they fucking come out anyway. You got my money, I get it. But I'm a Final Fantasy Tactics guy through and through. As much as I love Ogre and the entire series, particularly the N64 one, by the way. Ogre Battle 64 is a tremendous game.
No Lord of the Capper's good.
Yeah, I would rather see Final Fantasy Tactics first, so I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to leave it. What do you got, Kronos?
Yeah, so I'm a big Tactics game fan, just in general. Yeah. Like the genre, not just Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, same here.
So I would take a remake of like every single PlayStation 1 tactical RPG, personally.
Hell yeah.
So I'm gonna say love it. Also, the fact that you said before Tactics implies that Tactics is coming, so I love it even more because that means I get 2 games and not just one.
Yeah. See,
it's part of the NVIDIA league.
I always I always try and put the positive spin on it, even if it's not a confirmed positive spin. So basically, I'm just saying I'll lie to you if it makes you happy. I'll lie to you if it makes you happy.
Good to know.
Chat. Yeah. I have nothing in my hand to counter your 4 words, Adam. Oh, that makes me happy. Okay, cool. My turn. That's an FFTCG reference for you fans. Chat, don't go anywhere. Right after the show, we're going to be going live with Ms. Faye Death. What's up, Faye?
Hello. More mayhem.
More mayhem. Oh, so we're going
More
back
mayhem.
to the Wonderlands, huh?
Yeah, we have so many more adventures. This game is huge. I was
have you
actually
gotten
was
to any
not
of the
expecting
DLC
it to
yet?
be this long. No, we're still grinding through the main campaign stuff because I keep doing all of the side quests and everything before I do the main
Well, it is
stuff.
easy to get
I do
distracted.
everything.
It
really
easy
is.
To get
I
distracted.
did not realize exactly how big this game was when I thought it'd just be like this cool
That's
little
what she said.
thing, It's giggity. Yeah. Maybe like 10, 12 hours. No, you get a fully fledged game for this. I'm impressed.
Gonna be taking it to the Wonderlands. Chat, don't go anywhere. Give us a minute or two. We'll go dark. We'll relabel everything, and then Faye Death will be right back. We'll be back, of course, next week with an episode of the Relic Grind on Thursday. That'll be our Jeopardy show featuring Rook, Fusion, and Ginger Prime squaring off to see who will take the 3rd seat in our Final Fantasy Jeopardy Grand Finals. So Tark, Kronos, enjoy the week off. Do some gaming, have some fun. I'm sure there'll be blockbuster Square Enix Final Fantasy news, and we won't have a news show to cover it that week, but that's fine. No Gaming Gumbo or Torchwick streams this Saturday or next Saturday, but next Saturday you will be able to catch us streaming from Too Many Games. You'll, of course, have the Relic Grind on Thursday, and tomorrow, next Friday, just like normal over on mmobomb.com, we'll have the Always Online podcast, so come hang out with us tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/MMOBomb. Until next week, Kronos, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, same as always. Twitter. If you want to come be sad with me about FF7 Remake not being the OG game, feel free. If not, you can tell me that I'm an idiot. That's fine, too.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I mean...
Tark's already getting started.
I take all people, dude. I like criticism. Bring it to me. Yeah. I'm going to go play some Turtles after this, so...
I already beat it with Donatello. I'm playing through with Casey Jones right now. It's a lot of fun. Tark.
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkoth Gaming. Playing Final Fantasy XIV 5 days a week. Saturday and Sunday, we're doing Jedi Fallen Order. We're close to the end of that. That's here on Ready Check Radio. After that, I think we're going to be doing Outriders since the expansion's out.
Coming up.
Or soon. Yeah. So, yeah, good times.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there, Magic Man 1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO on Twitter, and we'll let you know every time we go live with a podcast or a stream, or if one of our volunteer streamers jumps into some fantastical world and shoots things up. I love them all very much. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you on the servers. Later.